In an absolutely jaw-dropping twist that has sent shockwaves through the entire sports world, the WNBA has just held one of the most dramatic and controversial press conferences in league history. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, standing before dozens of reporters and millions of fans watching online, announced that 5 professional athletes, including current and former players from the WNBA, NBA, and even Major League Baseball, have been officially banned from the league after a massive investigation into illegal sports gambling activity. This is a fictional what-if story, but buckle up because today, we take you inside the scandal that rocked the league to its core. At exactly 10 a.m. Eastern Time, cameras flashed as the WNBA Commissioner stepped to the podium. Her expression said everything. This wasn't just disciplinary news, this was a historic moment. She began with the words, "Today, the integrity of our game demands decisive action." She then read the names, one by one. Damon Jones, Michael Porter Jr., Michael Beasley, B.J. Freeman. Some were former NBA stars. Some were rising young players. One was a professional baseball athlete whose name surprised everyone. Each of them, according to the league's statement, had violated the strict anti-gambling policy, placing wagers on professional basketball games, using third-party betting accounts, and in some cases, allegedly sharing internal team information. The reaction? Absolute chaos. Fans flooded social media. Analysts scrambled for answers. And players across the league went silent, unsure what this all meant for the future of professional basketball. But how did this massive scandal even start? According to league officials, everything began nearly 6 months ago when a major sportsbook detected unusual betting patterns connected to WNBA games. Unusually large bets were being placed from accounts linked to people with ties to professional athletes. The sportsbook immediately alerted federal regulators, who then contacted the WNBA. Behind the scenes, a quiet but intense investigation began. The league hired cybersecurity experts, forensic accountants, and compliance officers. What they uncovered led them down a rabbit hole of encrypted messages, offshore betting platforms, and connections between players across multiple sports. At the center of everything was one question: were athletes influencing or feeding information into gambling activity? The investigation didn't claim game fixing. There was no evidence of that. But the mere involvement, wagers, communication with bettors, exchange of player information was enough to violate professional sports policies. And once the league had enough evidence, the hammer dropped. Let's start with the first name, Damon Jones, a well-known former NBA player and experienced basketball coach. Jones had been working around the league in various coaching and development roles. The WNBA stated that Damon had been involved in coordinating bets for several third-party accounts, allegedly advising bettors on lineup changes and player conditions. Though these actions were labeled non-criminal, they were still a direct violation of league rules. Fans were stunned. Players were speechless. Damon Jones, known for his charisma and basketball knowledge, had been a respected figure. But now, his career in women's basketball was effectively over. The second name was even more shocking: Michael Porter Jr., a current NBA star and one of the league's top talents. The WNBA emphasized that Porter Jr. was not accused of influencing any games, nor of betting on his own team. What he was accused of was placing wagers on WNBA matchups using someone else's betting account, a clear violation. This wasn't his league, but the policies apply across affiliated leagues, especially when the wagers involve professional basketball. Social media exploded. Hashtags like #PorterBand and #GamblingGate started trending worldwide. NBA insiders immediately began speculating, would this lead to cross-league punishment? Would the NBA take action too? Nothing was confirmed, but his name alone raised the stakes in this unfolding scandal. Next came Michael Beasley, the former NBA star known for his incredible talent and equally unpredictable career. The league alleged that Beasley had contacted several WNBA players privately, asking for inside info about injuries, rotations, and coaching strategies, information that can dramatically influence betting outcomes. Beasley was reportedly cooperative during the investigation, but the league still moved forward with the ban to protect the sport's reputation. For fans, this was heartbreaking. Beasley had been working toward rebuilding his public image in recent years. But with this announcement, his comeback narrative took another devastating hit. Then the commissioner named B.J. Freeman, a rising basketball player with a promising future. Freeman was accused of placing dozens of bets through offshore bookmaking platforms often used to avoid detection. Investigators discovered transaction logs, communication records, and account ties linking him to the sport's wagers. The league emphasized that no evidence suggested game manipulation, but gambling on any professional league while being an active or eligible player is strictly forbidden. For Freeman, this was more than a ban. It was a career-altering moment. A young athlete, full of potential, suddenly cut off from the league he dreamed of joining. And then, perhaps the most surprising name, Luis L. Ortiz, the Dominican baseball player. What was an MLB athlete doing in a WNBA gambling investigation? The commissioner explained. Ortiz had allegedly placed some of the largest bets tied to the scandal. Even though he's not part of professional basketball, betting on leagues while maintaining personal or professional relationships with players is a compliance red flag. Ortiz reportedly wagered on multiple WNBA outcomes and had contact with individuals involved in basketball operations. This brought the scandal beyond basketball, showing how deeply gambling networks can intertwine across different sports. Inside the WNBA, the mood was somber. Players were stunned. Coaches felt blindsided. General managers and owners worried about public trust. For years, the WNBA had fought to grow its reputation, increase its visibility, and protect its integrity. The league has often been applauded for handling controversies swiftly and transparently. But this scandal cut deeper. It brought into question, how many players are involved? Did anyone else know? Were games compromised? How do they prevent this from happening again? The commissioner assured the public that no game outcomes had been manipulated and that the league remained structurally sound. But fans weren't fully convinced. And honestly, no one could blame them. Over the last decade, legal sports gambling has exploded. Online sportsbooks, instant bets, parlay bonuses, prop wagers. The accessibility has created money, excitement, hype, and temptation. Leagues around the world are now facing the same challenge. How do you keep the game pure when the betting industry is more profitable than ever? This fictional scandal mirrors real conversations happening in sports today. Athletes are under pressure. Betting companies are everywhere: jerseys, arenas, commercials. Fans gamble in real time while watching games. And when big money is involved, rules get tested. The WNBA's fictional decision to ban these 5 players was portrayed as a heavy reminder. Integrity matters more than profit. Fans reacted in waves. Some praised the league for acting decisively. Others argued the punishments were too extreme. And many wondered how so many athletes, from different sports, became connected in this scandal. Sports shows debated it nonstop. Former players weighed in. Influencers made reaction videos within minutes. For the first time in years, the WNBA was the center of sports media, but for the wrong reasons. In the fictional timeline of this story, the commissioner announced a new multi-tier integrity program. League-monitored betting accounts, mandatory annual gambling education, digital tracking for suspicious wagering patterns, expanded cybersecurity monitoring, cross-league cooperation with the NBA, MLB, and NCAA. The message was clear. This would never happen again. But the ban remained permanent. For the 5 athletes involved, this marked the end of their connection to the WNBA. For the league, it was the beginning of a new era of accountability. And that is the fictional story of the WNBA's biggest gambling scandal, a dramatic, alternate universe scenario exploring what would happen if sports leagues took unprecedented action to protect competitive integrity. Remember, this script is purely fictional and created for entertainment. If you want a part 2, a character deep dive, or a full documentary-style edit, just let me know. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more in-depth sports storytelling. See you in the next one.